So, assertiveness is all about expressing ourselves openly and honestly. And assertive communication is all about expressing our emotions directly, openly, and assertive people are those people who know about their rights and who are aware of the rights. Now, sometimes assertiveness can be mistaken as, an aggressive nature, but there's difference between being aggressive and being assertive. So, when one can communicate honestly and clearly, that is assertiveness, which at times can be rude for the other person. Okay? Aggressive, on the other hand, is basically being rude to someone. But assertiveness is not at all being rude to anyone. It's only about directly communicating, it's only about communicating clearly. So, these two terms, these two types of communication are quite misunderstood. If I am a person who is assertive and who likes to communicate honestly, directly, clearly, and openly, then at times I might be misunderstood as well. Okay, few people might misunderstand, and few people might, they might just take my honesty and clarity as a rude behavior. Okay, but when you are communicating with someone honestly and clearly, you are not supposed to be rude. So you should definitely try to communicate directly and clearly, but at the same time you must make sure that you are not sounding rude, you are not behaving rudely. As I had said that sometimes assertiveness can be mistaken as, rudeness. Okay? So you have to maintain that decency. Being honest, being clear can sometimes be misunderstood, but it's your responsibility. If you are a person who likes to communicate honestly and clearly, it's your responsibility to maintain that you are not sounding rude. So if there are 10 people listening to you, out of 10, 2 will definitely misunderstand you, but everybody should not misunderstand you. And even 50% people should not misunderstand you. And if 50% people have misunderstand you, that means you had made a mistake. So, there'll be one or two people who there'll be one or two person who will always misunderstand, but you must not be misunderstood by most of the people when you are communicating with them honestly and clearly. If you are misunderstood by everyone, that means you had behaved rudely. If you are not misunderstood by most of the people, by maximum number of people, then that means um, you had communicated honestly and clearly. So, using the right amount of assertiveness can help you to communicate properly. Uh, Sometimes you might not be assertive enough. Okay, sometimes you might not be assertive enough to communicate, like to communicate honestly and clearly, because you might be afraid to speak, but you should at least try to be honest and to communicate clearly. As I had already mentioned that if you are too honest, and if you are too, honest, and if you communicate directly, and if you say things too clearly, then your behavior might offend the other person. So if you're too assertive, people might not appreciate the way you talk over them, or people might not appreciate that kind of behavior. So it's always necessary to maintain a balance in between. It's always necessary to control your to control the way you communicate with people. Assertive communication is a very good way of communicating with people, but at the same time, you must not sound rude, you must not sound aggressive. So this is basically about uh, assertive communication, and how assertive communication can become aggressive at times, and how you might sound rude. So it's totally up to you how you control the situation. It's totally up to you. It's totally dependent on the words that you use to communicate. So you must use, the right words. You must use the perfect words. You must think and then communicate. You must not sound rude. You must not shout. You must be polite. Even if you are telling someone about something directly, even if you are being honest, and even if you are criticizing someone, okay, even if you are giving a negative feedback, it's your responsibility to be polite, to be gentle. So that is being assertive without being aggressive. So tomorrow I am going to discuss the various ways of how to be assertive without being aggressive. All right. So